This is a Oneplus Pad 3, and here's some downsides that OnePlus doesn't want you to know. So we did the good sides, now it's time for the downsides of this. If you are in the dark, the background keyboard doesn't have any backlighting, so you're typing kind of, you don't know what you're doing. Where's the backlight? Okay, do you notice anything wrong with this USB port? Let's take the cover off. What about now? If you've got anything plugged into this USB-C port, then the cable will actually be lower than the tablet. So there's going to be random force on this there because it's not in the center. At the same time, it's so thin and skinny that even if it was in the middle, the cable is kind of thicker than the pad, so you'd have that happening to you anyway. As impressive as this screen is 12-bit. Apparently advertised by OnePlus, but that's not the truth, really. The actual hardware of this screen is 8-bit, and then we have 4-bit FRC, which means that all the pixels around one hardware pixel start flickering different colors, so you get the gradient of different colors to actually give you 12-bit. But the hardware is still 12-bit, so it's not true 12-bit. It can kind of emulate 12-bit, but it's not true 12-bit. Now, when we're using the pen and double tapping the pen will actually get you to your eraser, and you can do that. But I prefer that the pen actually would have a button on it. It will be such an improvement in terms of workflow, how you want to get rid of your stuff. So I'm used to the Samsung pen or Microsoft pen or ProArt pen. They always have a button, and one of them is actually eraser, so I could easily get rid of it. But here I have to do this awkward double tapping, which I don't think is as nice. Now, I've seen people online say that the pen doesn't have a visible lag, but actually it does. It really does have a lag. So whenever you're actually drawing, there is a lag behind the pen, which is not as nice. I also have the Samsung Galaxy Tab 9 FE, and that one in there, I don't actually see that lag as much as I see it in here. So this lag is a little bit bigger, and that's one of the things that puts me off writing notes with this pen, because it does have a lag. When you want to do video editing on the Android tablet, here's where bad news comes in. You don't have a lot of choice to actually edit video, especially if you've got a vertical video. CapCut, it's kind of okay when you're doing it vertically, but in terms of something like Final Cut, what we have on the iPad Pro or Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, it's not really available on this Android tablet. And that's a bit of a downside for creators. If we're talking about photo editing, it's the same thing. We do have Lightroom, okay, but we don't have Adobe Photoshop, which would be ideal here. We've got a pen. Imagine how nice it would be to use the pen for the brush and everything, but it's not really happening in here. It's a beta version, but that's no good. The Quick Connect feature only works with ColorOS 13.1 devices and later, and because I have a Google Pixel, I can't use this feature. I wish there was more of an ecosystem going on the Android side, so if you've got an Android, it all just works, because that's how it works on Apple. But in here we've got Android and then actually locked into the manufacturers. Google wants to do their thing, OnePlus wants to do their thing, Samsung wants to do their thing. Can we have a more unified performance and experience? Now, both the front selfie camera and the back camera are nothing to really rave on about. They are okay at best, as you can see here. But the thing is, I wouldn't really recommend this for professional photography. The best they can do is just your video calls, but I wouldn't take photos to remember with this. And it's a bit of a shame, because when you buy a tablet, you expect it to have everything that a phone has, just a little bit bigger, except these cameras aren't really impressive. Now, when wanting to open this device, in terms of security features, you've got two options. That little guy over there is trying to look for my face, but it's behind the camera, it can't see it. The other option then is to type in the PIN, but there's no fingerprint readers anywhere. I wish there was. This over here is the single port that you have on this tablet. No, there's no headphone jack, which means if you've got headphones, you gotta find the converter that goes with this USB-C. This screen is an LCD screen, and this is one of the things that you get the most hate online about. And even though this is a downside, and this is a little bit of a deja vu effect in here, I actually don't agree with this downside. I've been using this for quite a while now, and I can tell you that this is one of the best LCD screens that you can see. Can you see how you can hardly see the difference between the dark bits over there and then the black on the top? Whenever I've been using this, The actual backlit parts of the screen have been very, very nice. I haven't seen any backlight bleed. This is one of the best displays I've had. 144 Hz is absolutely amazing. And yes, technically this is not OLED or AMOLED display that some of the other competitors have at a much higher price point. But I tell you this, it's impressive LCD screen. And whenever using this, I've never once thought, that screen doesn't look nice, or I don't have enough contrast, or the colors are a bit off. I think the 12-bit and then this screen, the LCD screen, it actually is one of the most impressive things that I have seen. So even though being a downside, I kind of don't agree with my own downside. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, this device configuration, you can get 256 or 512 gigabytes. So you don't have a 1 terabyte version option, and you can't actually expand it. There is no other things where you can expand storage. Well, in some ways you can, you just have to use a dongle and some USB-C that you can use in there. But at the same time, that's not that big of a problem, because not a lot of the other competitor tablets allow you to upgrade the storage. Just a bonus one over here. Can you see how the RAM capacity is 16 gigabytes plus 12? That is absolutely crazy. I don't exactly know how this works. I've got 12.4 gigabytes used and I've got 16 left. So what's going on in here? Okay, see these pins on the keyboard in here? These are the male and then there's female on the back of the device. The thing is, this keyboard is absolutely useless unless it is connected. So there is no battery, no nothing inside here. So this is useless if you don't connect it to the pad. Imagine how useful this would be if you actually had this somewhere plugged in and then you move to the side where you want to present and you can go next or move the cursor around. It would add so much features if this was Bluetooth keyboard as well, and these pogo pins would just be charging the device. That would be epic. Or give it extra battery life. If you need to juice this one up, this can charge that one, or that could charge this one. Just some little tips from OnePlus for next time.